Okay, Anouksha, really good to see that you've reworked the sketchbook. You've made it larger, it's looking more ambitious, it's looking more complete. So, yeah, great stuff. You want to see this all the way through, and then I think it will be a more complete piece of work from year nine. I think you've got some good entries into this mind map, and adding some perhaps ways even around the edge here. I've just been telling my year 12s with doing these mind maps that you can extend the thinking by perhaps adding in possible visual outcomes, not necessarily things you follow up, but possible visual outcomes that you could have from uh, thinking about all these different ideas. There could be particular areas where things come to mind. Um, okay, so good to see you starting to think about the titles and the layout of the page. It's really encouraging. You could revisit some of these pieces. Under there, I can start to see something a little bit more interesting happening with the shading and the tone and so on. You start to layer up some of the darker tones using the 4B. You start to get into all that kind of darkness down there. It's going to start to look more 3D. And also, I start to think about losing some of this outline perhaps right towards the edge of the strawberry. It just becomes the end of shading rather than actually having an outline. So you might want to just kind of think about how, for example, this line here is thick, and it goes kind of even thicker but softer, and then almost sort of blends out again. All those little things, all those details really add up, and you got a good start. I just think, a bit more work. It's all there just to raise the grade even higher. Likewise with this, good titling, good layout, very ambitious size, really excellent start. Pastel's a difficult thing to get used to. If you revisit it, if you not necessarily change much of this, but just trying to pick out some more of these perhaps darker colours, perhaps getting some of the colours a little bit more intense. So this is slightly more washed out on the picture, and these are deeper, darker colours. We have some new pastels now, so maybe now's the time to go back, revisit. Good writing. Keep using your technical terminology, your subject-specific language, reference to formal elements. Thinking about the meaning as well, like what could this be about, rather than just a study of the pomegranate. Maybe you could start thinking about a particular style, even at this early um, stage. Okay, so the pattern stuff, drawing with pattern, again, thorough job. Possibly popping in a shadow under here will help it sort of sit on a surface. And again, looking at it on this screen, it can look a kind of fairly uniform in its tone. Maybe there's room again there to start employing your 4Bs and so on. But another good piece, good reference to here. A few more little examples of your experimentations with pattern, possibly. I like your writing. I like the boldness of it. This is one of the kind of more clearly defined versions of this breakdown of your assessment criteria. Yeah, Keith Arnott. So good write up again. Um, using extending the vocabulary all the time is useful. Thinking about this kind of strange mix of beautiful and kind of repellent. These apples here, coming out very well. I like that you've lost the outline here, which is really nice. Got a really soft edge, and it hardens up around here. I think this is an interesting image. It's one that maybe there are little refinements you still do even now, but it just kind of fits together well. And it's again it's ambitious size and thorough evaluation at the bottom. So well done again. The paint. These big titles, by the way, working really well. The paint and the colour. You've got the beginnings there are something really, really good. I'd see this through. Why not? It'll help you with the flesh tones. It'll help you with um, mixing the colours and so on. Okay, so the print. Now, early print experiments. kind of very hit and miss, to be honest with you. I think these will need a little bit more. They look a little bit kind of patchy, unresolved. You know, maybe printing on top. I think I have one of your linos. Maybe printing one of the linos directly on top of these straight into the sketchbook. Maybe even a couple of layers will just help to raise this up. This is quite a kind of sketchy, maybe not so thought out piece of work, like the angles here, kind of where did they come from, why did you have them that way, and so on. So I think there's definitely room. You're not the only person to be developing these linos a bit more. Daniel Gordon, yeah, nice little bit of drawing there. Watch your shadows under here. You can see how those start to make the thing 3D. So the shadows are very useful. I think help you think about how the light plays on the objects as well. Possibly get some images of Daniel Gordon. You can always do a fold out here and actually get some of the more unusual ones. If you go on the internet and find ones yourself, then that just will kind of set your book apart. Yep, the Emily, a good start. I would finish this. It's a good opportunity to start thinking about how different layers of design and different overlapping layers of colour can build up a kind of complex surface of pattern. And you started to do it here. You started to do it very well. I think you don't have to introduce colour. It could be built up out of kind of monochrome, because you've got a fair bit of colour already. But I think this is one to finish off. Okay, pictures. What are these pictures? Your own pictures, I think. Getting them all down, cropped, selected, and so on. You want to be doing that, particularly because later on you've got the portrait work. You want to make sure that you've got a range of photographs, and then you may want to demonstrate that you've selected from your range of photographs one or two that perhaps mean a little bit more. Okay, it's good to have. This is another. This is a well observed version. Writing about why this looks quite kind of unfinished and so on. It's a perfect opportunity, maybe even for a little mini mind map. Why would Andy Warhol produce something which looks a little bit unfinished like this? How does that relate to pop art and the whole sort of thinking about mass-produced images and the kind of human factor that involves in making them, and where does that come in if something's mass-produced? These sorts of questions could be coming into a little mind. What else could you do with this? How might you present one of your own images using this sort of method, and how did it affect one of your own images if you produced it in this way? Really excellent study here. I mean, big, bold, well observed colour, real sense of the kind of drama of the piece. Excellent, well done. Really good bit of tone building up here. In comparison to sort of early on, where the first one you drew, the first vegetable you drew, was slightly pale. This is really starting to explore the full range of tones. Again, I would really finish this one. It's just too valuable as a sort of thorough study. I like the way these little cutouts are working. I like the presentation. It'd be useful to have the rest of this in. For example, the drawing of our canteen might fit kind of nicely in here as a fold out, perhaps. And also the shading. I had a sheet where there was using shading to build up something to look like it was 3D, and to think about where the light was coming from. Good opportunity here to explore that colour. I really would finish this one off. And then faces. So we begin to look at faces, different types of faces, perhaps of ways faces are made. And you've found this particular artist of your own, which is excellent. That's the way we want to go. Talking about the particular style of an artist, get those pictures of his work in early on, so that we can link what you've done here to a piece of work perhaps that he's done, and then think about why yours is different. And again, more drawing styles. Really good to see big scale, ambitious kind of go at trying to replicate or explore the style. The show green, obviously, you've got lots of little tiny details here, quite difficult to do, but lots of tiny little, almost doodle-like images of his drawings. Giacometti, obviously, and Celdran, check the name, it's R-A-N. Be good to see that finished. Compare the styles, this is a thing. How are we choosing different styles and what do they mean? And also choosing colour palettes. Very good job you've done with the colour mixing. While you're doing the colour mixing of the kind of colour mixing sheets where you're exploring primaries and secondaries and so on, you could just flip forward in your book maybe and add a few more colours to this possibly. But again, really good job. You've done a really good job. How does the colour affect the state of mind? How does it affect the subject matter? And of course, that all important. What if you used these colours to make your own images? This is dissection project stuff. We were either recording it or making the show for it. Lots of pictures on the internet of these. There's links off the art wall and the talisartanddesign.com websites. So lots to record. It was a collective effort, so it may be that some of the images are ones of which have been produced when working as a group, which is absolutely fine. Terrific job of doing this, and I think thinking about how you've painted it and how that affects the mood of the piece and how that may be linked reminds me a little bit of that Hiroshige woodblock print of the people crossing the bridge in the rain, because I think of the texture of the rain here, and also the lightness of the colours. It might be worth thinking about linking this to that. Also, a big contrast between this kind of content of the dissection projects and obviously the quite gory stuff. I would finish this. It's observational drawing from a primary source. You've actually got the object in front of you. We need to know that. We need to see it finished. And these links here, I have more pictures that you've used so that you can show that you've chosen this one from a group. Yeah, there we go. So this latest image, I'm quite intrigued as to where it's going. So well done with the book. It's more in it. There's stuff to finish off. It's looking very promising quality. Make sure you finish the bits off. We've still got to see the abstract work. I'm not quite sure where that is now. Is it in your folder? Not sure. The abstract work, one or two other pieces. The Soutine neat paintings, and yeah, a few other bits and pieces in there. Check the checklist. I'll post that straight after this video.